It is the 29th day, the month of June, the year 2020. We are almost just wrapping up the month. Thank you so much for staying loyal to KBC Channel 1 as we seek to inform you on the latest happenings in Kenya and beyond borders. Today we got so much lined up for you. A day when the global update on coronavirus stands at over 10 million people who have been confirmed positive of coronavirus, and more than 500,000 people have died courtesy of this respiratory disease. We'll be giving you details about that, but locally also serving you the politics of the day. Just a few days after the Kirinyaga governor Anne Mumbi Waiguru survived an impeachment, impeachment motions are simmering for several governors. I'm talking about Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu and Isiolo Governor Mohamed Kuti. We'll be giving you details about the latest developments with regards to the conversations revolving around the impeachment of these two particular governors in our comprehensive news bulletin. Welcome on board. My name is Serfine Oma, and our sign language interpreter is Susan Dhuku. Now, we begin straight away with our top story for this particular day. There was drama at the Kitui County Assembly this morning after a group of ward representatives blocked lawyers representing area Governor Charity Ngilu from accessing the office of the Assembly clerk. The altercation comes after the court temporarily stopped the County Assembly from debating an impeachment motion that seeks to remove her from office. Interestingly, Ngilu's lawyers had made their way to the Assembly following an invitation by the County Speaker George Ndoto, who was in receipt of a notice of motion for her removal. The motion, according to Speaker, was to be considered on Monday, prompting the summon to have Ngilu appear in person or through a legal counsel to respond to allegations stated in the motion. Now, MCAs are accusing Ngilu of irregular procurement and failure to pay statutory deductions to the Kenya Revenue Authority.
Get out. You have heard from the speaker. Get out. You have heard from the speaker. You know you have that. I got doesn't matter. I got my way. I'm on duty. I'm on duty. Get out. You decide to be
Those are the pictures of the drama that ensued this morning at the Kitui County Assembly. And now joining us live just to give us an update on what was happening today at the Kitui County Assembly, plus what are some of the allegations that have been put forward with regards to what warrants the impeachment of the Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu is none other than Edward Kabasa. A very good afternoon, Kabasa. You were there and witnessed what was happening at the Kitui County Assembly. What more can you tell us, and what are the issues that are being raised by the members of the County Assembly in Kitui?
There was some drama. Good afternoon, Safira Cheng. There was some drama at the County Assembly of Kitui this morning when lawyers representing Governor Charity Ngilu presented themselves on behalf of the governor before the clerk of the County Assembly. Of course, they were responding to an invitation letter written inviting the governor to come answer to the allegations raised in a motion which was supposed to be debated today. The motion was to be moved by the Kitui County Assembly Majority Leader Peter Kilonzo, but that particular process almost turned chaotic because the County Assembly refused to admit the lawyers. The lawyers were demanding to have that invitation letter cancelled in accordance with the court order that was issued on Friday by the High Court. The debate on the impeachment motion was supposed to take place today morning, but it was struck off from the order paper just a couple of minutes before the County Assembly could sit. And the MCAs are raising a number of issues. Gross misconduct. They are saying that the Kitui County Assembly is the Kitui County, I beg your pardon, is operating without a substantive county secretary. They are also alleging that there is no substantive committee executive member in charge of health. In that motion as well, they are saying that the governor has refused to abide or adhere to the 2/3 gender principle, which requires that all appointive positions should be balanced in such a manner that one gender should not exceed 2/3. They are also accusing the governor of nepotism, that she has given her family senior roles, and this is in terms of business and even appointive positions in the county government. The motion was supposed to be debated today, but that particular debate was shelved. We did speak to the leader of the majority party, who is the author of this motion, and he stated categorically that the issues raised within that motion are valid, and they have every reason to believe that Governor Charity Ngilu should be, should be impeached. And they also raised quite interesting issues, really, that the governor has failed to appear before the Senate County Public Accounts and Investment Committee. But right now, I am joined by the minority leader in the Kitui County Assembly, Alex Nganga, and he will be giving somewhat a response to the issues raised by the majority side of the County Assembly. Welcome. You are live on KBC Channel 1. We did see there was a little bit of commotion at the County Assembly today when the lawyers representing the governor presented themselves, and they were not allowed in. And you have expressed reservations with this motion, that the content of this motion are fabrications. Are you still standing by that, and what has changed going forward?
Thank you so much. My name is Honorable Alex Nganga, the minority leader of Kitui County Assembly, with my colleagues here. And what happened in the County Assembly of Kitui today is very unfortunate. When lawyers representing the governor came to the County Assembly, and they were flashed out on orders from the Speaker by our Sergeant at Arms. Basically, we had business today, and the business of the House included impeachment of Governor Charity Ngilu. And when lawyers come, as it is required, she had received an invitation to appear either in person or through legal representatives, so that she can defend herself. The governor decided to send our lawyers to represent her, and when they came to the County Assembly, the lawyers were chased away. They were roughed, assaulted, which is very unfortunate, and that is not the way we should be going. What I can say and tell the people of Kitui County, the people of Kenya, and generally everybody is, we have a motion of impeachment.
I'm sorry, we are pressed for time here, but let me get just in less than 30 seconds. Are there still numbers to move this motion legally, and what will happen? Just in less than 30 seconds.
One, the mover of the motion, the majority leader, has been unable to gather numbers to push through the motion. And that's why you are seeing all these tactics, of course, aided by the Speaker. And they are unable, because you need a threshold of at least 2/3 of members of the County Assembly to impeach a governor. Today, the members who turned up in the Assembly, they were less than 25. To be precise, only 21 members turned up on his side today. So basically, he's unable to marshal the numbers, and that's why you're seeing all these things happening. And to me, this is a motion which is already defeated, and it is defeated because the majority is unable to marshal number to move the motion.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry. That's all we had time for, but this process is not yet over. The matter raised by the governor before the court will be addressed. Both parties will be appearing before the court next week, and from then on we'll see what direction this follows. But clearly there are issues which needs to be addressed in terms of the working relationship between the county assembly and the county executive and the politics therein. My name is Edward Kabasa, live from Kitui County.
Thank you so much, Kabasa, for that update. Of course, we'll be staying close just to follow up on the latest happenings at the Kitui County Assembly, even as they continue with the conversations on the impeachment of Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu, who has responded, by the way, and she's responded to the drama that ensued this morning at the County Assembly and says the County Assembly that invited me, and in brackets in person or represented by counsel, to answer to allegations in a witch hunt impeachment motion have violently kicked out my lawyers. And she goes ahead to ask if it is a proper and legitimate impeachment, why resort to draconian measures? That's the question she's posing there. But of course, we'll be giving you more updates with regards to that particular story. We now take you to another county, the county of Isiolo, where the Isiolo County Assembly have downplayed claims to the effect that they are plotting an impeachment against Governor Mohamed Kuti. The ward representatives distanced themselves from allegations maintaining that there has been no issue raised against the county chief to warrant his ouster. This coming as a section of elders in Kakamega castigated the move by a Mani National Congress to expel area Senator Cleophas Malala from the party.
At the time that Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu is fighting off an impeachment, there are claims that our Isiolo counterpart Mohamed Kuti could be staring at an ouster from members of County Assembly. These coming days after Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru survived ouster from her County Assembly when the Senate found no fault in her. A section of members of the County Assembly from Isiolo have, however, distanced themselves from claims of plot to impeach their county boss.
We are 15 of us here, and we stand here to say there's nothing like impeachment.
Led by the leader of majority Isaac Fayo and Deputy Speaker David Lemantile, the ward reps say the allegations are baseless given that there are no issues against the government to warrant his removal at this point in time.
The truth of the matter is that as at now and as before now, nothing about impeachment is before us, and we urge people of Isiolo to be cognizant of this and stop these lies and go back to their developmental business.
If there is impeachment of the governor, it is the county assembly to initiate and do it, and for the Senate if that be. It is the assembly to ensure that if there's need to be to impeach the governor, we do it.
In the meantime, a group of elders from Kakamega County are calling on Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi to reconsider a move by his outfit to expel Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala from its ranks.
Wetu amefanya nini? Amepelekwa, tutakuwa pamoja na yeye huko. Kwa hivyo tunakuomba chairman mzee Musalia Mudavadi, fikiria sana mambo hayo. Ama kama hutafikiria, sisi tumehama. Tutahama na mheshimiwa wetu.
Jama ajiwezi fika mahali kijana anataka panda juu aone ile mwangaza kianze kumkata miguu.
The National Governing Council approved Malala's ejection from the party last Friday, accusing the outspoken lawmaker of insubordination. The party's disciplinary committee had in November last year suspended and summoned Senator Malala to appear and respond to charges made against him during an Orange Democratic Movement party rally. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
And now the Council of Governors is expressing concern over a wave of impeachment motions targeting its members. The Council's chair, Wycliffe Oparanya, castigated the actions by the County Assembly members, claiming that they are ill-informed, especially coming at a time when the country is fighting COVID-19 pandemic. Oparanya wants the ward representatives to act responsibly by shelving issues they could have against the county chiefs and concentrate their energies on supporting efforts aimed at keeping COVID-19 at bay.
The issue of impeachment, and this is really a concern that at such a time when all of us are fighting COVID, some impeachments are coming up. Already we have dealt with one, and I hear that some are on the line. I want to urge the members of the county assemblies to restrain themselves in such a time and use these little resources that are now being used on impeachment to actually fight COVID-19.
Na mambo ya corona, lazima kidole cha gavana na assembly yake wakae pamoja ndio uwe chawa ya corona. Rasilimali zote ambazo tumetoa bilioni 5 kama serikali kuu kuelekeza kwenye counties, lazima mabunge yetu ya county yakae pamoja na gavana waweke mikakati kupambana na corona. Lakini ikiwa wanapigana, Waswahili wanasema fahali wawili wakipigana ni nyasi ndio itaumia.
Now on to matters health. Health services at the Busia Referral Hospital were Monday morning disrupted after healthcare workers suspended their services. The strike that kicked off early morning on Monday saw operations at most of the hospital's departments paralyzed, inconveniencing those who had turned up at the facility for treatment. Efforts to reach the hospital management on the impasse were not successful.
Kama corona iko na tumepanga foleni hivi, tunaomba ya kwamba gavana wetu ashituke tafadhali, aone wananchi wa Busia mateso yenye tunapitia. Kama mtu ni mgonjwa saizi, watu wako hospitali wameoperatiwa, hakika awe na roho ya utu, akae chini na Ministry of Health waongee, wasikizane tafadhali, sisi tusaidike.
Na nimekuja hapa saa 12, nimekaa kufika saa 4 wanatuambia ati daktari wamegoma. Sasa sisi tutapeleka wapi wagonjwa wetu? Kama leo ni kliniki ambao walimwandikia. Sasa nimeshindwa nifanye nini? Serikali tunaomba mtusaidie. Busia, sisi tunaumia. Mnataka sisi tupeleke wapi wagonjwa wetu?
Mtoto amerifa, mtoto ana ugonjwa joints, kama mtoto anaenda kulema. Sasa nimeenda Kocholia, nimeambiwa nikuje Busia. Sasa nimekuja Busia kwanza asubuhi na kuna matibabu yoyote inaendelea. Tunaambiwa ati madaktari ati wafanyi kazi wamegoma. Sasa tufanye nini, tuende wapi?
Really unfortunate timing there for that particular strike. We need our healthcare workers at this particular time when we are all battling with the coronavirus pandemic. We hope that a solution will be gotten as soon as possible. We are now going to be taking a very short break right here on KBC Lunchtime News. Don't go too far. We are back with much more.
Hamjambo Wakenya wenzangu, mimi ni Mheshimiwa Mize. Ninalotaka kuambia ni kuwasihi ya kwamba corona iko, na ili tupigane nayo na tuishinde, ukitoka nje, ukifika kule nje, kuna hata maji yamewekwa nje na serikali. Unanawa mikono kwa maji na sabuni, na maji yenyewe yawe ni yale ya kutiririka. Pale unaponawa, unaangalia usafi wako wa mikono, unaosha huku nje ya viganja, unasugua katikati ya vidole, pia huku kwenye kucha, manake uchafu wajifiche huku kwenye kucha. Uoshe, kisha sunza na maji yanayotiririka. Maji yakimwaika, kusema kweli tutashinda. Tuzingatie na tutii sheria. Corona tunaishinda, na baadaye maisha yatarudi kama kawaida wa Kenya.
On the next episode of Corner.
He's trying to hide the truth from me.
We were friends long before he showed up. Did it all mean nothing to you?
I'm not lying.
Stop dragging the young name in the mud. Return the money, or you'll have to answer to me.
I didn't steal it.
I need you to tell me the truth. Niambia kila kitu kuhusu ile story ya do.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Right now, we want to take you straight to the PSC headquarters right here in Nairobi. Today, there was an interview that was being conducted to seek the Registrar of Political Parties and an Assistant Registrar of Political Parties. Joining us live now is Serfine Robi, just to give us an update on what is happening and what are some of the issues that are being raised with regards to this particular process.
Indeed, a very good afternoon, Serfine. We're coming to you live from the Public Service Commissions, whereby we're following up on the interviews that are ongoing behind this door, whereby about 10 candidates are being interviewed for the position of the Registrar of Political Parties after the Public Service Commission, chaired by Stephen Kerogo, received applicants, about 88 candidates who had applied for the position of the Registrar of Political Parties, which was promulgated in 2011 in line with the 2010 Constitution, which since the promulgation of the position under the Political Parties Act has not had a Registrar of Parties, since the ones that have been holding the positions have been in acting capacity, some of them being Lucy Ndungu, who left for the Commission on Administrative of Justice, and later on we had Anne Derito, who has been holding the position since 2018 up to date. And for now, the positions were advertised last month, and the interviews are ongoing, whereby 10 people have been shortlisted for the position of the Registrar of Political Parties, and 37 have been shortlisted for the position of the Assistants of the Registrar of Political Parties, whereby later on, after the interviews that are going on will be done, that are chaired by the Public Service Commission's Chair Stephen Kerogo, 3 names will be forwarded to the President for the position of the Registrar of Political Parties, and 9 persons will be forwarded to the President for the positions of the Assistants of a Registrar of Political Parties. Well, the interviews are still ongoing, and one of the candidates that is also vying for the position of the Registrar of the Political Parties is the current acting Registrar of Political Parties, Anne Derito, who will be the 4th candidate to walk into the door just behind me to undergo the interview that has been going on since around 10 in the morning. But we've had about 3 candidates already that have been interviewed, and we are going to have the next candidate is Anne Derito, who is the acting Registrar of Political Parties, who will be interviewed for the position that has not had one since it was promulgated in 2011 in line with the 2010 Constitution, as I said, since it has been having persons who have been acting since it was promulgated, who are Lucy Ndungu and Anne Derito. Well, we can take you inside the office that the interviews are ongoing, so that you can be able to have a picture of what's happening inside the office, whereby there is a panel chaired by the Public Service Commission's Stephen Kerogo, who is chairing the committee that is undertaking the interviews, whereby they have shortlisted about 10 persons for the position of the Registrar of Political Parties, 5 of which are female and 5 others are male. Just to take you in so that you can have a sneak peek of what is happening in relation to the exercise, whereby they're looking for the persons who will be holding the position of the Registrar of Political Parties, as well as the assistant to the positions, Registrar of Political Persons. As you can see, they're waiting for the 4th candidate who will be walking in, who is the current acting chair of the Registrar of Political Parties, Anne Derito, who will be the 4th candidate of the Registrar of, who will be the 4th candidate to be interviewed for the positions of the Registrar of Political Parties. As I'd mentioned earlier on, 3 names will be forwarded to the President after the interviews are done for the positions of the Registrar of Political Parties, and 9 persons for the Assistant Registrar of Political Parties. We'll be giving you a comprehensive report in our 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. news on what will happen to when the interviews will be done. Back to you in studio, Serfine. I'm Serfine Robi.
Thank you, Serfine, for that particular update. The exercise, of course, will be going on the whole day. Today, they will be interviewing those who have been shortlisted for the position of the Registrar of Political Parties, a position that attracted about 10 people that were shortlisted, and 37 others were shortlisted for the position of Assistant Registrar of Political Parties. They will be interviewed beginning tomorrow all the way till Thursday. We'll be giving you details about that as well. Now, to take you to what is happening across the counties, the government has partnered with the stakeholders to enhance efforts aimed at mitigating the adverse effects of coronavirus pandemic. And amid the uncertain times, stakeholders in the education sector have raised concern over the possible reopening of schools in September.
Leaders, parents and education stakeholders are expressing their opposition to the government's plan to reopen schools across the country in September this year. A section of parents from Thika constituencies say there is a possibility of a sharp rise in COVID-19 infections due to a lack of proper measures in the learning institutions to curb the spread of coronavirus if the schools are reopened early. The parents say most learning institutions do not have a capacity to maintain social distance and force the wearing of masks among staff and learners, as well as maintain up to standard hygiene measures. Thika Town Member of Parliament Patrick Wainaina urging the government to instead consider reopening schools in January next year.
Juu tukiangalia venye kavi inapanda na tukiwapeleka shuleni, of course hatutakuwa na manjozi itakuwa imejaa sana. So itakuwa vizuri tukiangalia, at least ngoje next year mwaka ujao tuone kama kavi itakuwa imeenda chini.
I'm calling the Minister of Education to kindly delay the opening of schools up to January 2021 until we see the pattern of corona.
In the meantime, Bar, Hotels and Liquor Traders Association of Kenya has pleaded with the government to soften the restrictions imposed on bar owners and allow them to operate with strict adherence to COVID-19 regulations. Association National Vice Chairperson Charles Olenaeku says the sector has been severely affected and has already lost over 200,000 workers who were employed in over 55,000 bars across the country.
Tumepoteza pesa mingi sana. Kama Naro, ile pesa tunapoteza kila mwezi ni pesa mingi sana, kama almost $1 million. Venye tunarokotanga nini na tunalipanga code taxes. So ningeuliza kama sekana serikali iangalie wenye bars, juu restaurants ile imefunguliwa ni kidogo. So pombe haiendi haisongi.
Elsewhere, visually impaired persons drawn from Mombasa County have received food, face masks and sanitizers during a ceremony held in Shanzu Ward, Kisauni constituency. Almost 100 families have so far benefited from the ongoing program to combat the spread of coronavirus pandemic. Coast Association for Persons with Disability Chief Executive Officer Hamisa Zaja said she joined other non-governmental organizations to assist the visually impaired with food amid the economic hardships brought about by the coronavirus pandemic. 3,000 visually impaired persons in the coastal region stand to benefit from the program.
Walemavu ambao kama hapa ambao tumekuja, janga hili limekuja likisema kwamba lazima kuwe na social distancing, lazima watu wasigusane, lazima kuna masheria ambao yamewekwa, lakini watu ambao hawana uwezo wa kuona ni watu ambao lazima wagusane, kwa sababu lazima mtu awe na guide na lazima mtu papase pale sehemu atakaposhika labda ni chafu. Kwa hivyo imekuja na changamoto nyingi sana ambayo ni lazima tujaribu kusomeshana sisi wenyewe kwa wenyewe, lazima tujaribu mbinu mbadala ambazo zitaweza kutusaidia.
Meanwhile, the Kilifi County government has unveiled a new ultra-modern market built at a cost of 30 million shillings at Gongoni in Magarini constituency. The market is the second largest to be built by the county government after the Mutopa market, to enable traders in Gongoni to have a convenient place for conducting their business after years of operating under the sun. Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi, who officially launched the market, said traders will be able to conduct their business in a conducive environment in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Na kwa sababu ya hatihati hii ya corona, wale wachuruzi wakiingia hapa ndani wanauza, hakuna haja ya kutangamana. Zamani wachuruzi wengi walikuwa wote wanasongamana katika kisoko kidogo, lakini sasa hata ile tunaita social distance inawezekana kwa wale ambao wanauza hapa kukaa mbalimbali na wanafanya biashara ili wajilinde dhidi ya corona wakati wanafanya biashara zao.
Beatrice Getonyenge-Tich, Channel 1 News.
And that is a quick look on what is happening across the counties with regards to the mitigation of coronavirus. Now let's take this global. The global coronavirus cases now exceed 10 million, and more than 500,000 people have died from the respiratory disease. The United States account for about a quarter of all deaths, with over 128,000 reported fatalities. Emily K. Bade tells us more.
The most recent numbers from Johns Hopkins show the death toll now stands at over 504,490 since the first cases emerged in China late last year. The United States has witnessed over 128,000 deaths from COVID-19, accounting for about a quarter of the global total. Brazil, United Kingdom, Italy and France are the other countries that have recorded the worst death tolls. Meanwhile, the state of Victoria in southern Australia has found 75 new cases of coronavirus in the past 24 hours, the highest daily count in 2 months. Its top health official says the number is absolutely concerning. China has imposed a strict lockdown on some 500,000 people near Beijing to contain a new coronavirus outbreak. On Monday, China reported 12 new confirmed cases, including 5 imported cases. And Israel's health minister has warned that a second wave of COVID-19 infections has begun, as new cases of the coronavirus soar in a country that appeared to have it well under control just a few weeks ago. The number of new infections in Israel has reached more than 500 daily, just a few weeks after the government started reopening the country. South Africa's current surge of COVID-19 cases is expected to dramatically increase in the coming weeks and press the country's hospital to the limit, the health minister said. South Africa, a country of 57 million people, already has more than a third of the reported cases for all 54 countries in Africa, a continent of 1.3 billion people. Elsewhere, French people went to the polls wearing face masks in the final round of municipal elections, expected to yield a rebuke for President Emmanuel Macron's party. Global coronavirus cases now exceed 10.2 million and more than 5.5 million people have recovered. For Channel 1 News, I am Emily K. Bade.
And now in business news, we begin in Nakuru County. The county targets to process at least 1,000 metric tons of honey annually through investments in the value chain targeting smallholder beekeepers. 1,000 youth and women are the latest beneficiaries of a 3 million shillings World Bank grant aimed at boosting beekeeping value chain. Nakuru County Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries CEC Dr. Immaculate Nthunje further revealed plans to construct a 30 million shillings honey refinery at the Maria Shoni to scale up apiculture in the region.
In Kenya, only 20% of the country's honey production, estimated at 100,000 metric tons, has been tapped, owing to a myriad of bottlenecks that include underdeveloped marketing strategies, reliance on traditional log hives, as well as lack of investment in the subsector.
Kwa hivyo kitu yenye tungependa serikali ifanye, juu hii project ijakuwa exploited katika nchi ya Kenya, watu waelimishwe na kuwe na researchers wenye watakuja wafanye research na wafunze mpaka watu mambo ya kutumia dawa, na kama watatumia dawa, kama ni lazima watumie dawa, ni aina gani wanastahili kutumia zenye hazitaathiri nyuki wetu.
One of the unique value chains that we have focused on is the beekeeping value chain or apiculture. Starting bee or honey has a lot of other value and has a lot of other products that can be made from it. We think into the future there's opportunity for value addition, not just in packaging honey, but also in terms of the propolis and all the other products that come from beekeeping.
In efforts geared at scaling up the capacity, the World Bank has given a 3 million shillings grant to youth and women in Nakuru County.
Beekeeping has a very unique positioning in support of women and youth.
County CEC in Doja says the money through the National Agricultural Rural Inclusive Growth Project, the bank's affiliate, will be spent on equipping participants with skills in competitive apiculture and acquiring modern beekeeping implements. She revealed plans to construct a multi-million honey refinery to support honey processing within the region.
We also host other persons or other institutions that are heavily involved in beekeeping, like the Baraka College. And we also have Egerton that is actually doing research on beekeeping, including what we call queen rearing. These are private sector-led platforms with county facilitation and county support.
The program projects that at the closure of the Narigip at the end of the year, 8,000 farmers will be producing an average of 20 kilograms of wax and honey for each beehive every harvest. Elsewhere, Samburu County Government and World Vision have teamed up to support beekeepers and ensure they are producing high-quality honey through the county's cooperative society.
Kwa jumla nafikiri sasa tumepata mzinga kama 1,000 katika Samburu County, kwa sababu tuko na East na North na hapa Central.
We have about 19,000 beehives across the county, and I would want to promote farmers because our honey is the highest, very high quality in this region. And we really want to also open up market avenues for our farmers. We want to promote Samburu honey based on its quality.
Samburu County Governor Moses Lelong Kulal said the county government's objective is to create a market of honey based on its quality. He further underscored the need to support the beekeeping efforts in the semi-arid region following the locust menace disruption.
As Imara, we have supported them get beehives and accompanying equipment that is for harvesting, so that they can improve their production, so that productivity for honey can be improved, so that the cooperative can get sufficient raw materials to do business.
So far, Samburu has 1,900 active hives. Regina Manyara reporting for Channel 1 Business.
All right, and now on to some international business news. Japan's auto industry has recorded 38% decline in global sales in May as demand remained suppressed due to COVID-19. This is the third consecutive month the industry has recorded a decline as most automotive factories and dealerships remain closed during the period. Details of this and more in our international business news roundup. Japan's 7 major automakers sold a total of 1.47 million vehicles in May, a decrease from 2.38 million units a year ago, according to Reuters calculations based on sales data released by the companies. But the decrease was smaller than the 50% tumble posted in April. Global production at the automakers fell 62% to 918,974 units in May, compared to a production slump of 55% in April. Car demand has plummeted globally since March as people were forced to stay indoors in most countries due to lockdowns to control the outbreak, leading to deep uncertainty about the long-term economic impact. Japan's biggest automaker, Toyota Motor Corp, sold 609,460 vehicles in May, down 34% from a year ago. Nissan sales fell 37.3% on a year to 272,873 units, while Honda sales slipped 29% to 327,000 units. And Airbus chief executive projects a 40% drop in plane output for 2 years compared to pre-crisis plans, underscoring the threat to jobs as it draws up rapid restructuring plans due to a travel slump. According to him, output would return to normal by 2025. Airbus has till now said it was cutting output by a third on average. The latest figures do not imply any immediate new production cut after Airbus reduced output by between 33% and 42% to new output levels that it plans to keep under review.
The sources have predicted phased-out cuts of between 14,000 and 20,000 jobs based on the production targets. Union officials said the plans could be set out as early as Wednesday, when Airbus has called an emergency session at the end of the 2 days of union meetings. Finally, pilots and test crew members from the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration and Boeing Co. are set to commence a 3-day certification test campaign for the 737 MAX Monday. Boeing's best-selling aircraft was grounded last year after 2 crashes killed all 346 people on the flights. A 737 MAX loaded with test equipment will run through a series of mid-air scenarios near the Boeing's manufacturing base at Seattle. Pilots will intentionally trigger the reprogrammed stall prevention software known as NCAs, blamed for both crashes. The FAA confirmed on Sunday in an email to the U.S. Congress that it had approved key certification test flights for the grounded 737 MAX. Test flights had been planned for last year, but investigations uncovered an array of new safety issues that have delayed a return to service. The European Aviation Safety Agency has maintained that clearance by the FAA will not automatically mean a clearance to fly in Europe.
All right, and from the international scene, we come back to some more local business news, and we want to take you now straight to the Cusco Center in Upper Hill, right here in Nairobi, where today the Kenya Union of Savings and Credit Cooperatives was giving an update on how the societies have fared, especially during this coronavirus pandemic. Joining us now live is Alan Aoko to tell us more about what was said and what should be expected in the coming days. Alan, a very good afternoon. What can you tell us?
Indeed, thank you very much. The COVID-19 pandemic has hit cooperative societies hard, and today we saw the movement issue out vouchers to the vulnerable in society, members of the cooperative society. 5,000 vouchers were issued today. This comes at the backdrop of another 5,000 vouchers that were issued a few days ago in another function. Now, this is supposed to support the members of the cooperative society, even as we see how challenging it has been for the society when it comes to navigating the headwinds of COVID-19. Present was also the managing director of the Kenya Union of Savings and Credit Cooperatives, Mr. George Ototo, who said that even though the cooperative society is going through headwinds, people shouldn't just yet rush to other alternative mainstream issuers of credit. He was saying that for cooperatives, they have consistent lending rates of about 12 to 14%. But we have seen in the sector, the banking sector having 29-year lows of interest rates of even up to 11%. And we've seen Kenyans rushing to those banks to get credit. But Mr. Ototo was warning that, the banking sector has volatile interest rates, and therefore it means that if the COVID-19 passes on, then the interest rates will go back up. But for cooperative societies, they remain low. But beyond the interest rates and the advice of the MD, he says that cooperative societies have been doing well so far despite the challenges because they have been advising their members to take short-term loans, because he's talking about cash conservation. So he's saying short-term loans have helped a lot of people, and they are trying to discourage long-term loans during this time because it might disable people from lending. Present in this issuance today also was the Principal Secretary for Cooperatives, Mr. Ali Noor, who was here just to see how the process is ongoing, and he also talked about the government's efforts to try and cushion cooperative societies. He was talking about the impact assessment that he's supposed to, is still finalizing to give us a view of how much the cooperative society has lost in general. He says that is still ongoing, but he's also appealing to other cooperative society societies to band up together and contribute to the cooperative fund that is meant to safeguard the affairs of cooperative societies. Behind me in the banner there is cooperative committee, COVID-19 response committee, which was formed to help mitigate the coronavirus impact on cooperative societies. And the PS was telling us that some cooperatives have given to the fund to help them help other cooperative societies, especially those ones on the ground that are not that big, to help them manage their affairs, but is also still appealing on others to come in and sort the cooperative society. But that's it for us now. We will give you updates on this development during our upcoming bulletins, of course. Back to you.
Thank you so much for that update, Alan Aoko, just telling us how the COVID-19, which has affected various sectors globally, has also affected the cooperative societies, and talking about quite a good initiative there. They've gone ahead to issue vouchers to help the vulnerable at this particular time, the members of the societies. Now, we now want to cross gears and move to the sports and news. And Pep Guardiola has challenged his Manchester City players to prepare for their Champions League showdown with Real Madrid by winning the FA Cup. City will face Real in the end-of-season mini-tournament when they return to European action, and having passed their Premier League crown to Liverpool last week, they are determined to add another trophy to their collection before locking horns with the Spanish giants.
Meanwhile, Real Madrid are 2 points clear at the top of La Liga after grinding out a victory at bottom club Espanyol. Casemiro scored the only goal as he lashed onto Karim Benzema's brilliant no-look-back heel through the legs of defender Bernardo Espinosa. Espanyol had several chances, with Thibaut Courtois making 5 saves. Real Madrid are now only 6 wins, or 5 wins and a draw, from a second La Liga title since 2012. City rivals Atletico can do them a favor when they visit Barca on Thursday.
And now on to some international news. Authorities in the southern Pakistan city of Karachi have launched investigations into Monday's stock exchange attack that saw gunmen storm the facility after launching a grenade attack at the main gate to the building. Latest reports quote the police saying they have killed all 4 of the heavily armed gunmen. Emily K. Bade tells us more.
At least 5 people have died after shots were fired at the Pakistan Stock Exchange in Karachi, with policemen and security officials among those who were confirmed dead. 4 attackers are said to have entered the compound and started firing, but were killed by security forces. Rescue and paramilitary security personnel were dispatched to the scene in an operation targeting the militants. The Pakistan Stock Exchange in Karachi is the country's largest and is located in the city's financial hub, where there is usually a heavy security presence.
All right, and that is all that we had lined up for you right here on KBC Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for creating time for us. Of course, we are still working on more updates for you. Remember, as you await our subsequent news bulletins at 7 p.m. and at 9 p.m., follow us on social media at KBC Channel 1. My name is Serfine Chieng Oma, and our sign language interpreter has been Lensa Odingo. Have a lovely afternoon.